Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be reviewing this absolute classic album released 45 years ago today. I'm going to be looking at the album Who's Next by The Who. So yeah, like as I said, 45 years since this came out on the 14th of October back in 1971. The studio album before this was Tommy, which was a massive success for the band. Like it very much broke them like internationally, and like a tour throughout like 1970 to like support the album was like massively successful, very much like their peak like as like live performers. But when it came to like planning like their next studio album, Pete Townshend had like the idea of like another rock opera. He like wanted to do something like a little bit more like ambitious like than Tommy, to have like a multimedia like experience, like have like a film plus like a stage show plus like the album, have like all like these things like working together like in like this one project, what would be called Lifehouse. From what I gather from like what like I read on like the internet, and that the idea seems to be like based in like a future world where like music like is banned and that, and like people like live like these pre-programmed lives, like they're not like their own people, like they live like the way what other people want them to live. Like the Who like actually got like quite far like into like this project, scheduling a couple of gigs at the Old Vic Theatre in London to film like the live segments for like the project. However, these things didn't go to plan. Like they wanted like the audience like interact like with like the band more, like they wanted like to assign like a musical note to each member of like the audience like based on like the personality, but this idea like didn't ever like come to like fruition. And that was probably because the idea was far too complex for Pete Townshend like to like explain to like the rest of them, and for like the others like to actually like understand like what the hell like he was like going on about. So like it was decided, I think by like the producer Glenn Johns, to actually just record the songs, because he thought like the songs what like Pete Townshend like was bringing to the table were like top notch like material, so why not just like record like the individual tracks. So they went to New York's Hit Factory recording studios to like attempt to like make a start with like recording this album. However, those sessions like didn't go to plan. They found like the party atmosphere of like the city like quite distracting, like especially for like Keith Moon, and like instead like they moved to like London's Olympic Studios where like they could focus in like a little bit more. What's also interesting with this album is there's like a lot more songs like recorded for it than like actually appear on the album. Like there's only 9 songs like on the album. However, other songs like from like the sessions like would like later appear on like things such as like this like CD here we get like a couple of like outtakes, and then like there were also like a lot of like non-album singles as well. I'm thinking of stuff like Let's See Action, Join Together and Relay, all like written and like recorded like during like these sessions, but didn't make like the actual album. Like I know that like a lot of Who fans really feel like it would have been like a classic double album this. Me personally not. Like I think like the way it is like just fantastic. Like I think like they picked like the best like 9 songs to go on the album from like the sessions. When this was eventually released, the album was a big hit for The Who, reaching #1 in the UK, #4 in the US chart, where it would eventually be certified triple platinum. As soon as like this came out, this got like a lot of like critical praise, and like over the years, like its popularity like has endured. It is like a regular mainstay on like many of like the greatest albums of all time lists. So yeah, a really fantastic, successful album. So I'm now just going to show you my 2 copies of it. I'll start with the CD here. So yeah, here it is. There's the back of it there, and yeah, as I said, comes with like a selection of like bonus tracks here. Those are Pure and Easy, Baby Don't You Do It, Naked Eye, Water, Too Much of Anything, I Don't Even Know Myself, and a alternate version of Behind Blue Eyes. So yeah, like a mixed bag there, like of tracks for me. Like I love Pure and Easy, and like I Don't Even Know Myself. I believe that was the B-side to Won't Get Fooled Again. Fantastic song. Probably that one should have made like the album for me. But like the other ones, like I don't really think like too much of. Glad that like they did like leave them off. But anyway, here is a little booklet. Quite a nice wee booklet actually. So like a lot of like information about the album, probably talking like a lot about like the Lifehouse project, and then like towards the end a little track by track breakdown like of the album. So that's a really nice little booklet in there. But anyway, like now to like the vinyl, which I got very cheaply. This was like the first ever Who album I bought. Like I've had this like a good wee while now, And I very much just bought it because it was like so cheap, and like thought like I might as well like give like this band like a try, and like yeah, like I loved it from like the moment like I heard this album, to be honest with you, and like that's where I like ended up fully getting like complete on like a lot of like the other albums. Yeah, like a pretty basic packaging wise. This one here, this is like a reissue like as well, I believe from like the late 70s or like early 80s. Mine isn't in like the greatest shape like sleeve wise, like a little bit of ring wear like on the back, but the actual vinyl itself plays really well. Like I'm in like no great hurry like to like upgrade this one, to be honest. Like this is like a fine copy of it. So I'm now going to go over all of the album songs. I will score each song out of 10, and then those scores will be used to give us a percentage for the album. So we open up with the classic Who song, Baba O'Reilly. A 10 out of 10 for me, probably like no surprise there. Starts off the album really well with like this very iconic synthesizer part. Really works, very sort of futuristic sounding. And then like I love like the way the track slowly builds. We get like the piano what comes crashing in, then the drums, and then like Daltrey's fantastic vocal. The title of the song comes from like two things. Like the first part comes from like Meher Baba, which I believe like that's like how like you say his name, who was like sort of Pete Townsend's like spiritual leader. Like he was quite like into like all like that sort of thing. Like that was like the main like inspiration like behind like Tommy like as well. So that's where that bit comes from, and like the O'Reilly bit comes from like a composer called Teddy Riley. And like the lyrics on this one are like quite interesting, sort of like about like what like Pete Townsend felt was like the wasteful nature of like youth culture like at the time. Like he was like very like much like against like drugs and like that, and like what he saw at like Woodstock when like they were there, like off like all like these young people like really like stoned at that. Like he very much like disapproved of that. Right, so whereas like many people find the song to be like celebratory, like yeah we're all wasted, like it actually like means like the complete like opposite. Like it's very much like a warning like against that. But yeah, a fantastic song, really like a band at like the top of their game. The only thing what I'm maybe not like a bigger fan of like with the song is like the ending. Like it ends with like this violin solo, what kind of like it doesn't drag on, but it isn't like my favourite bit off like the song. But I'm not going to let that detract from like the score, because it is a fantastic song. So yeah, a 10 out of 10 for me. Right, so now the second track is probably like one of like my favourites like, from the album. Probably would be like my favourite track because I haven't heard it like as much as like the two big singles from it. It is the song Bargain, a fantastic rocking song. Really powerful performance like on like this track, like from like the whole band, like, especially Keith Moon. Like his drumming like on the song is like just phenomenal. And like at first glance, like the lyrics on this one seem to be like a sort of like a straightforward like love song, like I pay any price to get you, give up all I had, like that sort of like thing, like because he like loves like whoever like singing about it so much. But the actual like meaning like this one here, like you said, it's like about like finding like God and like spirituality and like that sort of thing. Like once again, like similar with like the type and similar with like the first song. And yeah, like I've heard like both like Pete Townsend and like Roger Daltrey rank this as like their favourite like on the album, and like I really can't argue with that. It would be like my personal favourite as well. Like it is just a fantastic song, Bargain. Lay down beside me, love ain't for keeping. Now the third track in is like slightly different. It is called Love Ain't For Keeping, but it's another 10 out of 10 though. It is a shorter, more like acoustic based song. Like originally, like I read it like this was supposed to be like a more like hard rocking arrangement, but like I'm glad that like they changed it because it does add like that sense of like variety like to the album. Nice lyrics on this one, very much about like spending like quality time with like a loved one, and like yeah, like just a fantastic underrated Who song. Fourth track in is the John Entwistle number on the album. It is a track called My Wife, and I'm giving an 8 out of 10 to. Probably is like his best known and like probably like his best song, like actually like what like he's like ever contributed to a Who album. Actually, this one wasn't like intended for like the original Lifehouse, and was like a leftover from like a solo album what he was making. Lyrics for this one are quite amusing, sort of like about like coming home like after like a drunk night out to like an angry wife, like that sort of thing. Like it really works. Like got like nice punchy chords were played like by like John Entwistle. Really great great song actually, but for me would be the weakest like on the album, just to show like how many other great like great top-notch songs, if like an 8 out of 10 is like what like I would consider like the weakest track. But yeah, a really great song. Like yeah, like on like other albums, this track would be like a standout track. So like, that's what like I'd say. But on here, it is for me personally the weakest. So now closing side one, we have a track called Song Is Over, which I'm giving a 10 out of 10 to. This is a much slower, calmer piano ballad. Yeah, like, and like, I love like the way the song has like been like constructed. Yeah, like it's got like very much like an ebb and flow like nature like throughout it. Sort of like created by like the two singers, Pete Townsend like who sings like the slower like verses, but then who like Roger Daltrey comes in with like the like really like amazing uplifting chorus. As for like the lyrics on this one, it like seems to be about like the power and like the strength for like music like can have like to people. And like it also like ends with like the last couple of lines of like the track Pure and Easy, which I didn't make the album, but I really like I think could have been like a great addition to the album. But it is a fantastic song, a 10 out of 10. It is 6 minutes and 16 seconds, but it doesn't drag. It is just so well constructed that like it always keeps like you like wondering like what's going to come next like throughout the song. Really fantastic. But I'm in tune, right in tune. Side 2 opens up with like a quite similar song, I have to say, Getting in Tune, and like a 9 out of 10 for me. Like another piano-based song, very similar to like Song Is Over in like the way like it contrasts like the slower verses to like the more like upbeat and like powerful chorus. Very much like the lyrics on this one are like quite similar like to Song Is Over, about like the power like of music. So like it does get like bumped down a mark because it is quite similar like in that lyrics like to Song Is Over, but the actual track itself is like really good. The only like other thing I'd say with this one is like it does kind of drag like a little bit throughout the song. Like it is like about 5 minutes long, and there's only really about like 3 minutes like of song. Like actually like towards the end they're just sort of jamming, and like it does get like a little bit tedious, but it is a great song like nonetheless. Like the actual main part is like really fantastic. Then we have the track Going Mobile, which I'm giving a 8 out of 10 to. A fun little song, this one here. Starts off with like quite like a nice sort of country style guitar, and like Roger Daltrey doesn't like do anything like on like this song. Like this is sung by Pete Townsend, so it is like a nice change of like vocals from like the last track. Now like, and generally this song is like about like the joys of like traveling free and like being like able to like explore and like do what you want generally. So yeah, like a great lyrics and like quite like a peculiar guitar sound like throughout this one here. Like Pete Townsend uses like a wah-wah pedal for like the solo like for this one here. Like quite like an interesting sound for like the first little bit, but then it does get like a little bit overused, like a little bit like during like the song, and like a little bit annoying. But yeah, like although it isn't like a highlight like for the album, like it is like a fun song, and like like it is like a nice little track. No one knows what it's like to feel these feelings. But then it is followed by probably one of the Who's most well known, most loved songs, Behind Blue Eyes, an absolute classic. Love the way the track builds. Starts off very tender, very slow, with like just like an acoustic guitar and like Roger Daltrey's vocals. Love the lyrics on this one, quite bare, quite honest lyrics, and like yeah, it starts off like pretty softly and quite quiet as well. But then the track slowly builds tension before letting all loose for like the middle eight. Really works, and like it was like a single released in like in like some countries it reached number 24 in like the US charts. But yeah, a fantastic song. Really is one of like the Who's best tracks. But then we close with the absolute classic Won't Get Fooled Again. A 10 out of 10, no surprise there. Really is like a rock classic. Not much like I can really say like about this song, but hasn't like already been said about it. It's similar like to Baba O'Reilly. Starts off with like the synthesizer like introduction, straight away you can tell like what song it is. Just a really rocking and like powerful performance like throughout this song, especially like I have to go back to Keith Moon. I think like his drumming like on this album has to be like some of like the best like off like his career. Like you can really just listen to just like the drum tracks like from this and like be able to like have like a great time like with this album. Like it is like that good like his drumming like throughout this. But yeah, from like all members like off the band, they all put like 100% like into this song, and like it really pays off. It is a fantastic song, one of like the most well known. Like a single like as well reached number 9 in like the UK chart. So yeah, like a really great single. So overall, the album scores 94% for me, which I believe is the second highest score like I've ever given out. Like the last one of like my last reviews was like the Beatles Revolver. That only just beat this with like 95%. So yeah, very close, and like really is one of my favourite albums of all time. I think the reason why it is so successful and like so fantastic is because I think the performances what like the band do are like amazing. Like they all give it like they're all like for this album. Like all 4 members just put 110% like into these tracks. I think the other thing is like the production like as well. Glyn Johns really captures like their sound amazingly. Like, and thirdly, on like the albums before and after this, Tommy and Quadrophenia, this album doesn't have like an overriding concept or theme, which means that like the songs can really stand out like on like their own merit. Whereas with like some like concept albums, we get like some filler tracks simply there like to support like the story and like musically maybe like on like that great. Whereas on here we get absolutely zero filler. It is just a truly remarkable album. But yeah, I think like the main reason is just because of the songs. They are so great, so memorable, and like again, like the performances are fantastic like on this album here. So yeah, that's become to the end of this review. I would like to know what you think of this amazing album down below in the comments. Also, if like you have like any requests for future videos, those would be much appreciated. And I will see you all next time. Goodbye.